Let's do this. All right, I got my coffee. We're not doing the sign anymore. I got a tablet over here. I'm on vacation. It's my first day of vacation, so um, making my coffee took too long. I'm sorry. What can I say? All right, I got my tablet ready, and here we go. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Today is Friday, August 30th, 2019. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. Well, I'm very excited about being Friday. Today is the first day of my vacation. I am super stoked. I'm not working today. So for any of you out there who might be expecting an email that came in late yesterday, that you sent me late yesterday, or basically anything, you're kind of SOL. I'm not working. In fact, I'm leaving the country. I am. It's not as big of a deal as it sounds because I live in Vermont and Canada's like right there. So I'm going to pop over the border and go to the Granby Zoo, take some photos, enjoy the day there. Never been. And then I will come back home and stage for the rest of my trip because I couldn't make it work logistically to do it all at once. So I'll sleep in my own bed tonight. Not the end of the world. Not a bad thing, right? Yesterday was a very typical day before vacation. Got as much done as I could, a little less than I wanted to. Bunch of things did not go as they should have, and they took longer. But I finished off the day at the gym, and then I ate nachos. Those are the bones of nachos past from last night that I didn't clean up because I'm on vacation and I didn't want to. And when you're on vacation, you don't have to do anything. You do what you want. Maybe not every time, but as much as possible. So let's get into these questions because I'll be honest, I want to get going. I still got some logistical things I got to do. I got to pack the camera up and everything. Jordan says, morning, I can't recall if you've answered this, but if you can't sleep, stay asleep. What's your remedy? Oh, nachos. No, I very rarely have trouble sleeping. And that's because I've done a number of things to make sure that I can sleep. Quickly, I have blackout curtains. I do not sleep with any electronics nearby. I wear blue light blocking glasses the last couple hours I'm awake. I avoid caffeine after, for me, 3 o'clock is really a deadline. If I have anything beyond that, it can sometimes mess with me. And on those rare occasions when I can't sleep or I can't go back to sleep, assuming it's not because it's too hot, because that's usually what does it, once in a great while, I will change the focus. Instead of stressing out that I'm not asleep, I will focus on just being restful because you can rest without falling asleep. And of course, the irony is that if you just focus on resting and you try to relax about not sleeping and freaking out, then you generally fall asleep. A couple things that can help you sleep. If you have a very low sodium diet, bringing some salt in can help you fall asleep. There are a number of things. There's a book you should read called Sleep Smarter by Sean Stevenson. You might want to check that out. That was a pretty helpful book. I spent my entire life getting up in the middle of the night, and I don't do that anymore. And I sleep much better. You might also consider a sleep tracker temporarily to identify, do some experimenting on what helps you sleep and what doesn't. For example, alcohol helps me fall asleep, but I sleep poorly when I drink. Something to think about. Yeah. So if any of you want to see the things that I'm taking pictures of over the next few days, you should follow me personally on social media. I know I don't promote that because honestly, I don't want Whistlekick to be self-promotional, but Instagram is just at Jeremy Lesniak. That's where I'll post most of it. All right, we got some questions here. If you want to ask me a question, drop it below. I'll answer it on Monday. Yes, there will be a show on Monday. It will probably be at 6:30. You're welcome, Jordan. Jordan says I'm the man. I don't know about that, but I appreciate the sentiment. All right, here's some questions. If you could go back in time and spar with anyone in history, who would you choose? A little bit of a tweak on a martial arts radio question. We often ask who would you train with. If I could spar with anyone, so sparring. If I'm going to spar with someone, it's going to be for one of two reasons. One, to say that I did, and the other would be to learn something. Sparring is not my strength. I am somewhere between an adequate and a good fighter. So I think if I was to spar someone, it would be less around the educational side and more because I could, for the story of it. I feel like there's an obvious answer here that, for me, an obvious one for me that I'm missing. There's a part of me who wants to say Bill Wallace when he was younger, but he kicks my butt now. So that's not what I'm going to do. And he liked to hit hard. He still likes to hit hard. I don't like to get hit. I could make the same comment about Joe Louis. He really liked to hit hard. You know, it'd probably be Chuck Norris. To go back and spar him in the ring. I mean, I'd lose. I would absolutely lose. But it'd be a fun story. So I think that's who I would choose. If that wasn't an option, I'd probably be going back further. Probably be going back to, say, sparring with somebody from history, sparring Mitosi or Shimabuku or Funakoshi, one of these old school masters. And I think for that reason, it would be the education and the story. That's a great question. I like that one. What else we got? If you could be a fly on the wall during the making of any martial arts movie, past or present, which would you choose? Pretty much any Jackie Chan movie, because I would love to see the process that he uses for the choreography. If you watch the end of most Jackie Chan movies, you see the outtakes. Something like Super Cop or Rumble in the Bronx. You see the outtakes, you see the funny stuff that happens. And I think to observe that process, I think would be really entertaining and incredibly educational. We've had a number of people on martial arts radio over the years who have been involved in stunt work, and I'm fascinated by it. I don't think I want to do it. I could certainly see an alternate life where I had chosen to go that path. But I still think it's super cool. And I think the implementation of martial arts in that way is really fascinating. So, yeah, Super Cop, Rumble in the Bronx, Rush Hour. Actually, Rush Hour might be a better choice because you still get Jackie Chan, but you get the humor of Chris Tucker. And I've got a feeling that he is just as funny off screen. He strikes me as someone who is just a genuinely funny person. He does amazing impressions. If there's a stand-up special on Netflix, it's a few years old. Somehow I missed it, and I was watching that the other day, and he's doing impressions of Michael Jackson, and it's perfect. The voice, the mannerisms, he nails it. I'm laughing at this next question because it's gonna allow me to tell you a story from last night. What is your favorite breed of dog? So anybody that knows me knows that I love dogs. Dogs are the best, and if I wasn't traveling so much for work, I would absolutely have a dog. My favorite breeds are golden retrievers because they are silly. And what I love about dogs is their authenticity, their openness. They're so loving. And golden retrievers, I find particularly, are up for anything. They're ridiculous. As my mother used to call them, they're banana heads. So the story from last night, the house across the street's been up for sale for a few years, and it's been rented out, but finally it was purchased. And I haven't met the owners yet. But last night, I'm sitting here eating my nachos. Or no, I was like a minute from bed. That's what it was. And I was in a state of undress, we will say. And I hear a bark. And I go to the front door, and on the porch, I can just make out a tail wagging in the darkness. So I turn on the light, and there's this big fluffy white dog looking at me, wagging his tail, barking. And I said, okay, hold on, let me go get some pants. So I put on my pants, and I go, and he was gone. And I was very sad. So I'm hopeful that this dog belongs to the neighbors, and this dog wants to be my friend, because I like dogs. I think they have some kids, too. It'd be nice to have a family over there. I live out in the woods, and so there aren't a whole lot of houses around, so having nice people around is a good thing. I'm friendly with my other two neighbors, so hopefully these people are nice too. All right, I'll give you homework in a second. Don't forget, ask me questions, drop them below. I'll answer them on Monday, likely from a Dunkin' Donuts parking lot with a cup of coffee, maybe in a Starbucks cup. We'll see if they'll do that, because my travel cup is a Starbucks cup, because it's simple and it fits in the door. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Don't forget, we do the show every weekday morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube. You can catch it later at firstcupofjeremy.com or in your podcast feed. I've said that enough times that I can rattle it off. All right, homework. The whole notion of time travel as a mental exercise is something that we've done for, well, as long as I've been alive. I don't know how long we've done this. I assume that the notion of time travel is fairly old. I mean, we can't take credit for it because it's not like we've done it. We might be fairly close, but that's a whole other discussion. So when you look at this time travel concept, we had a question today about sparring and time travel. On Martial Arts Radio, we talk about training and time travel. One of my favorite questions that I've ever heard has to do with time travel and past or future you. So I would like you to consider, if you could go back in time 10 years and have a conversation with yourself, what would you say? If you're willing to share, I would love for you to share some of the details in the comment section. If not, totally fine. If you want to email me your comment or a question for another show, jeremy@whistlekick.com. And don't forget to check out whistlekick.com for everything we've got going on. I hope you have a great day, great weekend. See you back here on Monday. Peace.